Hi everyone, this is the part 2 video on implementing authentication in VueJS using JWT token. In first video, we have discussed like implementing authentication in the VueJS application using a test JWT token, right? So there after successful login, we are showing a normal success pop-up like alert pop-up. So now in this continuous video, we will now implement a new page like a dashboard page where we are going to navigate the user after successfully logging it. So let us create a dashboard page. So in this page, let's try to bind some user data like username and user ID for our testing purpose. So for that, I need to create a getter in the our store module, which is auth.js. Here I need to create a new getter to fetch the auth data. So let me create a getter like get. Right. This is my new getter that will returns the auth data. So now go to our dashboard page, and we know, right, since it is a getter, we must register in computed properties. So let's add computed property here. First, let's import the map getter. Map getters. Using spread operator, let's register map getters. And first parameter is our namespace. And second remaining object, we need to register our getters. So here I want to register my getter is auth data. So here I registered my get auth data getter. Okay. Now I need to bind some user data like username and password. I can access this registered name as a property. And I want to assign username. User ID. So now we have binded some user information data into our dashboard page. Let's register this route in our app route file. So let's import our dashboard component. Now, after successful login, we need to redirect the user to our dashboard page. So let's go to login page. Here instead of wallet, I am going to use since we are integrated our router into Vue instance, right? So we can access the router instance by using this dot dollar router dot. So that's it. We have done all our changes. Let's check our output. I forgot here two things like mentioning the namespace and also in here the state object input parameters. So we are done with the direct into dashboard page. Let's navigate to our page. Okay. Let me enter some fake data. Right. So if you observe here, uh, it is navigated to the our dashboard page. You can see here we are binding our username and sub to my dashboard page. So we are successfully accessing our user information to the dashboard page. Okay. Now next step we are going to implement in our sample is uh, God routing gods. Routing gods are navigation gods. Gods are nothing but protecting the pages from the user access which they don't have the permission to view the particular page. So now we are going to apply gods by using the VueJS routing gods. For that, go to app.router.js file. So we need to execute the logic before execution of the router. For that, we have a method like before each, like route config dot before each. Okay, this before each. Here I am doing global route guard means if you want you can do for each route level also. But here I am implementing globally means on every route before executing every route this method will be executed. Okay. So now I need to guard guard against the users to restrict them to access some pages. Like if I am not a logged in user, I don't have rights to see the dashboard page. So now this guard will restrict from accessing my dashboard page. For that, let's implement like before that we can add some meta for the routes. Meta is nothing but a object where we can uh, assign our custom properties. Okay. Here I am going to specify whether this route is eligible for authentication or not. Like I am creating my custom property like auth required. For me, homepage, it is false. Either user logged in or not logged in, they can see the homepage of my website. And meta, let me copy this. Let me do one more thing here. Okay. So for login also, it should be false because after login, it is useless to show the login page, right? So let me keep it false for login as well. For dashboard, it should require authentication. So I will keep true. Okay. Now we will use this meta tag object properties in our before each function. Okay. And before going to know the whether user is authenticated or not, we can check the expiration time of the access token. For that, we will create a helper method in our JWT helper class. Like token alive. For this, we will pass expiration. It is simple logic only. If now dot now greater than exp milliseconds into converting into seconds into 1000. If our current date is greater than expiry date, then it is expired, right? We will return false, or else we will return true. So to access this result, we will create a one getter method in our auth store, so that we can easily access the whether we can know the token is expired or not wherever we want by integrating that getter. So let me create a new getter. Token alive state. If state dot auth data dot exp token expiration is empty or null, then we simply return false, or else okay. If the data is exist, then we need to import our helper method like token alive. So going to return token alive by passing the state dot auth data dot exp. Okay. Now I can use this getter to know the whether our access token is expired or not. So so we have created getter helper, right? Now we need to go to our router module. Since we have to import store, right? For that we will simply import store from okay. So is authenticated. It is not a view component to create the map getters. Here if we want to communicate with the store, we need to use the store directly. For that, this dot store dot sorry, not this directly store getters. See, here it is giving the getters. So now I want to access this getter. So copy the name of this getter. So name of the getter. But we know, right? We should give namespace. For that, we need to prefix the namespace by using slash between the separator. So we will separate the namespace and the getter name using the slash. Now it will return the status of our access token, whether it is authenticated or not. So now the logic I need to implement is if true dot full path. Here full path from these two parameters full path, what we get is this URL. If it is a dashboard URL, we will get dashboard. If it is a login, we will login. If it is a home page, we will get simply slash. Is a home page, it will get simply slash. So my logic is full path equal to slash means if the user is accessing the home page, here we no need to check any user is authenticated or not. So we simply allow him to access that page. For that, if you return middleware like next will simply execute the user request if we don't specify any input parameters. Okay, here it will simply allow the user to access the uh, home page. Now another condition is else if I want to check if user is authenticated. If user is authenticated and the route is not required authentication, something like login. Okay, user is authenticated already, but he is trying to log in, accessing the login page. At the time, we should not show him login page. We should directly navigate him to dashboard, right? So for that, what we will do is, if user is authenticated, and also we need to check this meta tag. Okay, to check this meta tag using two property, two dot meta dot. I can call my custom property. Meta tag is false. Okay, if the authenticated user is accessing the login page, then we need to redirect him to return next path dashboard. We are redirecting him back to dashboard page. For suppose if the user is authenticated and he is requesting the authenticated page only, means dashboard. In that case, finally we simply return next. Means if user is authenticated and he is requesting the authenticated page only, then we simply allowed him to access that page. But we need to add one more condition, like else if user is not authenticated, but he is trying to access the dashboard page, means to check meta dot path required. See, user not authenticated and trying to access the page which need to be authentication. At that time, we need to redirect him back to login page. So in this way, we always guard our pages using navigation. So that's all about the configuration of the guarding the route navigation. So let's try to test our guard. Let me enter some data. What happens? State now is not a constructor. Something is happening in the. Okay, I think we now need to specify new keyword. So let's get rid of this. Okay. Now let's enter. So my Page is working, successfully login. Let me try to click on login page. But I am now is a logged in user. You should not go to login page. See, I am clicking also, login page not working. Let's hit home page. Home page is hitting. Let's try again login page. See, if I click on login page, it is automatically redirecting back to dashboard page. So that means we are successfully route guarded our application. Now next topic is, so this so far so good, right? Here if we click on login page, we are getting dashboard page only. But the problem is now, if I am closing this page and trying to access my page again, see, it is navigating back to login. Okay. Here URL is wrong. Okay, let me try one more time. Open my application and try to access dashboard. See, here it is redirecting back me to login page while I am accessing the dashboard. But we have our authentication data in a browser console. See, right? We have still our user authenticated access token and refresh token, but our application is in login state. That's because till now everything we have implemented in state management only. Vuex state management. Vuex state management will be lost once the application is closed and reopened. Okay. So now what we have to do, when the user application is closed and reopened, we need to check for the any user tokens are available in the browser, and then we need to retrieve those access token and refresh token into our code, and then again we need to reset our store state using those refresh token. So the thing we need to do here is we need to get the access token from the local storage. So let's implement that one. Since it should be done before any page get executed, right? So that logic also I am doing inside of the that logic also I am doing inside of the router guard only. So before that, let first, instead of fetching every time from the local storage, first we need to check whether the user data exists in user data nothing but access token exists in our view store or not. For that, let me fetch the auth token data. Auth data, and I need to access the getter that returns auth data, that is get auth data. So go to router page here. Okay, this will give the auth data. Okay, now here I will check whether the user is having auth data or not. So auth data dot token. If it doesn't have the auth data token, what might be the reason? Either user haven't logged into the our application, or is reopened the application after login. So now we have to search in the local storage. For that, let's fetch from the browser local storage. Get. So in auth data we have set right. So please make sure to have same names only. This is the key to fetch from the local storage. So if the token is available in our local browser store, what we have to do, we need to restore our Vuex store management. For that, we need to invoke the mutation, which mutation we have already created. This mutation only we can use. This mutation actually when it is used inside the action method. So same mutation can be used now as well. So for that, what you have to do, we need to create payload like. So now to invoke those mutations, what we will do means dispatch will trigger mutation commits. So I need to specify the mutation name. Our mutation name is, sorry, not mutation, commit only. For sorry, dispatch is for triggering the actions, commit is for triggering the mutations. Pass is data. So command will restore our Vuex store, auth store. And next thing we need to do is this line of code. Okay, move it down to here. Okay, I think we are good to go. Now we have data, mutation time. Okay, fine. I haven't specified namespace. See now, it is automatically got reloaded to dashboard by displaying the test one because it is now loaded the data from our local browser store. If you have any doubt, you can check. I'm reloading the page. Reloading page, nothing but it will lose the state, but it will restore by using our logic. Here we have written logic, right, to restore the our Vuex store. So in this way, we can our application start. We can reload all our access token, refresh token into our application and reset back to Vuex store. So that's about this fixing this issue on page reload. Now we need to do is till now we are using what I can say test token, right? Now I will show you to make it dynamic. Means I am going to replace this code with real authentication endpoint. So for that real authentication endpoint, what I have did is I am using Nest.js API. Nest.js is a node framework like Express only. It is a wrapper on Node.js. So I am using the Nest.js endpoint. So how to install, and how to configure it, I have explained in all the steps in my blog itself. So I will show you. See here. Next. So you can go to my repository to clone that repo. After cloning that, you need to install CLI command globally. It won't take any much space or much time. Just do it so that you have a real-time dummy endpoint. But this is a only mock repository. Okay, please mention that it won't use any database. It is only mock repository for learning purpose. After CLI installed, you need to go to the project root folder and install npm install. After successfully install, you need to start the application like npm run start dev. So using npm start dev command, I am running my Node.js server. So my Node server is successfully running. Okay. So to integrate that, I have also given the endpoint like localhost 3000. It will start runs. Okay. It will run on localhost 3000, and the endpoint is auth.login. One more thing I need to mention is you need to use the payload as it is here described in the blog. Username, it will be a case sensitive because these are the parameters in my server side, right? These are case sensitive, and I also use test and 123 only username and password because these are the mocked data. I am not using any database, and it won't have any registration endpoint also. So to make sure your payload must match this. So let me try in my view sample. So what we will do? First, we need to import Axios. Axios are, I have mentioned, right, for invoking the API calls. Axios are asynchronous calls. So I will write await Axios dot post. I'm going to copy the endpoint from my documentation, from my blog. Okay. And I need to send the payload. Please make sure before sending, I'm making for better understanding another variable constant payload, constant new payload username, or else copy from here. I am doing this because you will not mess up with while implementing your own sample. Payload.username. Actually, I have already created with these properties only. If I go to login page, you can observe those names. Username all small, password all small. But for your understanding, I am reassigning it to a new object. Okay. If you did like this only as it is, these names, okay, that are matching like this, you can simply pass the payload directly. You can simply pass this payload directly. But if you are using different property names in there, then please do like this. Okay? This is extra object I am creating only for understanding purpose only. If you have created payload properties exactly, you can pass this payload object directly. What I will do. Okay. So that's it about our what I can say our API call. But this is asynchronous, right? So we need to receive the response. Okay. To cache the error, so I can say error. Let me console log it. Error. And now I can check response and response data. If both are exist, then it is a success message. You can paste it here, and in else condition we can set login API status as failure. Okay, and let me remove these constant variables. Let's save it. Okay, if I'm getting some error, data is not defined. Where is the data? Okay, it is response.data. Response.data. Now, now we have login form, right? So one more thing I want to mention, I have cleared the tokens. If you are not seeing the login form because of the previous approach, go to location and clear here. The existing tokens and refresh token get deleted and refresh. If you refresh page again, it will show the login form. Since I have already cleared them, it is directly showing me the login form. If it is not showing for you, please clear here. Okay. So let's enter the credentials. Let's use these credentials only. Username is test and close this. And password is 1234. Okay. Let me click enter. Now we will see API call execution. See my login API. See it is automatically navigated back to what I can say dashboard page. See it is 201 returning. Let's expand this. Okay. See, I'm posting my post data, and if you see the response preview, here you will get access token and refresh token. These values will be stored in the application store. See, now we got refresh token also, right? So now we have completely implemented a sample application that is authenticated user against the JWT endpoint and fetching those refresh token and access token and saving them in the browser, and also displaying the user information by decrypting the JW token. All we have discussed, right? So in the next video, we have we will talk about how to use the access token as the how to add the access token as the authorization header for secure endpoints. Because um, if you want to access any secured endpoint, we need to pass our access token as a authorized user. So that will be explained in the next video, as well as how to invoke the refresh token endpoint. That will also be explained in the next video. So I think this video has delivered some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. See you soon with new video, guys. Signing off.